minor stuff: address signage, drain, formerly known as floor drain, litter, minimum electrical requirement, trash chute, and trip hazard. Yes, believe it or not, as much as we worried about trip hazards in the UPCS days, for purposes of this presentation, we're categorizing trip hazards under minor stuff. Each of the 6 items in this category has only one possible deficiency, except for trash chutes, which has 2. So the definition language is relatively short, and none of these deficiencies exceeds 1/4 of a point when cited on our model property, which is a 100-unit property with a sample size of 25 units to be inspected. If you haven't yet learned about the scoring system, the short version for our purposes here is that the more units we inspect, the larger the sample size, the lower the scoring value of each defect. Conversely, the smaller the property, the smaller the sample, and the higher the scoring deficiency. Address and signage. This is an outside-only deficiency. On our typical 100-unit property, it's worth about 18/100ths of a point, 0.18. As of October 2, 2023, we were told that this will count once per property, not once per building. We suspect that it will actually count once per building once REACT works out their software problems and actually rolls this program out. As of October 2, we're being told that all inspections are being put off until November. There's problems with the software, so that's postponed the rollout. So the address and signage item applies to the unique number and name identifiers assigned to each building on a property and/or the address signs on those buildings. This defect is cited when the address and/or building ID signage is broken, illegible, or not visible. As we understand it today, unit defects will count once per unit, inside defects will count once per building. It was our belief on first reading of the recent scoring notice that outside defects would count once per building, but someone working with the early version of the NSPIRE software told us that outside defects under that software were being handled like site defects under the old Rapid system, that they were being cited on a once per property basis. Look for a future special video on outside defect scoring to clarify this issue. We'll put that out as soon as this issue has been resolved. Drain. This actually applies to floor drains only. We're not sure why they didn't just call it floor drain. It applies to an opening in a floor that drains into the plumbing system. It does apply to floor drains and condensate drains. Drain defects can occur in a unit, inside and outside, with the scoring values running 0.22, 0.20, and 0.18 respectively, in other words, for unit inside and outside. This deficiency occurs when a drain is fully blocked and standing water is present. It applies to floor drains attached to the sanitary system. We're wondering if that means it will not apply to condensate drains that flow to the outdoors or to storm sewers rather than to the sanitary sewer system. In many areas, local code prohibits draining HVAC condensate into the sanitary sewer system. Notice also, this does not include any mention of damaged or missing floor drain covers. Those could be a big deficiency under building systems for single building properties under UPCS. Ran something like 8 points. It now appears to not be a deficiency at all. Litter. Litter can be cited inside or outside, but not in a unit. Scoring deductions run 0.2 inside, 0.18 outside. Litter can include discarded waste, garbage, trash, debris, rubbish, disposed of in a location that is not designated for waste. The litter defect occurs when there are 10 or more small items of litter within a 10 by 10 foot area, or when any number of large items like furniture or appliances have been discarded in an area not designated for garbage. minimum electrical and lighting. This is a completely new item and a unit habitability requirement. This will not be scored for the first year of NSPIRE inspections. So let's say roughly within the calendar year of 2024, assuming they actually get NSPIRE rolled out by early 2024. This new requirement says that there must be at least 2 outlets or 1 outlet and 1 permanent light fixture in every habitable room. This does not include bathrooms, closets, hallways, storage areas, and similar spaces not suitable as living or sleeping areas. Note that this is not to be confused with the separate requirement under lighting interior for bathrooms and kitchens to have at least 1 permanent light fixture. Trash chute. There are 2 deficiencies under trash chute, both as inside-only defects, both worth 0.2, 2/10 of a point, in our 100-unit property. Deficiency 1 occurs when a trash chute door does not open or close, and/or when a trash chute door does not self-close and latch. Deficiency 2 occurs when the trash chute itself is clogged. Last but not least, that brings us to trip hazard. Yeah, believe it or not, a trip hazard is now a relatively low-scoring deficiency when cited outside. Trip hazards can be cited in a unit for 0.22. They were non-scoring before. Inside for 0.2. They were also non-scoring. And outside for 0.18. The typical trip hazard scored on the site under UPCS was 5 to 6 points. It's now just less than 2/10 of a point. Keep in mind that's for a 100-unit property. A trip hazard occurs when there's an abrupt change in elevation or a horizontal separation in any walking surface. The definition specifies an irregularity of 3/4 inch in height or a gap of 2 inches width. New for NSPIRE, thank goodness, the authors of NSPIRE have included an exception. If a walking area has an engineered designed gap or vertical difference, this is not to be cited as a trip hazard. This would include planters and manhole covers, for example, possibly clean-out covers. However, if a service access cover is missing along a walking surface, this would be cited as a trip hazard deficiency. In other words, a cover is missing, so it provides a hole that you could step into. This has been our presentation on minor stuff, some of the very short deficiencies that have a very low scoring value. We hope this has been helpful. If it has, please crush that like button. Consider subscribing if you have not already. This is Michael Gant for React Guru. Thanks again.